So that's Mark Lowe in Turkey. We can talk now to Sheriff Isler, who's a Turkish journalist here in London and joins me. Thanks for being with us. Turkey already has, I think, 2.7 million Syrian refugees. It's saying essentially it's full, but obviously these people on the border are in desperate need.
Yes, well, I mean, Turkey has for the longest time, it's used what is called an open door policy. So when the civil war in Syria first erupted, Turkey was very welcoming of refugees and was letting them in. But all of a sudden, as you said, 2.7 million, that's enough to make a small city. And that's an incredible number. And domestically, this has caused some concerns, some problems even. Turkey already has a 10.1% unemployment rate. So the idea of 2.7 million people all of a sudden entering the workforce, for example, was a very daunting thing for Turkish society. And I think that's behind the reluctance, or almost the Turkish authorities seem to be taking this very slowly in dealing with the refugee crisis, whether to let them in or whether to not let them in. I think domestic politics is definitely behind that. They want to be careful as to how the Turkish people are going to perceive a new wave. Although, of course, it's not as large as 2.7 million. They want to know how Turkish people will be welcoming another wave of refugees from Syria.
So you think the Turkish government might still decide to let these people in? They haven't decided one way or another yet?
And well, I think they will eventually have to. They will be under great pressure to do so, because Turkey recently received some aid from the European Union and brokered a deal with the EU when it came to the migrant crisis. The European Union gave money to Turkey in return for Turkey hosting these refugees and dealing with the migrant crisis on Turkish soil. And let's not forget that Turkey is a European Union candidate still. If it wants to continue with the negotiations and make good use of the money, use the aid, and not fall into disrepute within the EU, they will eventually have to deal with this in a way that the European partners would be happy.
But of course this inflow of people might just continue. This is just from the latest wave of fighting around Aleppo. There could be in future tens of thousands more, of course.
Yes, and that's why Turkey, for example, has been stressing that this latest wave is as a result of the Russian airstrikes. They're saying that it's as a result of the Russian airstrikes in Aleppo. And of course, Turkey has had a falling out with Russia as well recently. And Turkey is almost, it's between a rock and a hard place. It's received this aid and made these commitments to Europe, yet has a falling out with Russia, another party in the Syrian conflict, and also has a falling out with Assad, of course. So it remains to be seen. Unfortunately, there is no better way of describing it as to how Turkey is going to deal with the influx of refugees.
All right, Sheriff Isler, Turkish journalist, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.